Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video I'm going to take you through a full review on the PS771. Welcome back to another review. Today's review, guys, is the PS771. This is the box that it turns up in. On the Creos range, they all seem to come in the cardboard boxes. Simple. You've got your logo of the brush on the back, a little bit of bump on there and a bit there. Inside the box you get your airline, you get your little adapter to connect your airline up, you get a spanner, and you get your information sheet inside the box. The actual airbrush itself is a 0.18 mil setup on the needle. This is a double action airbrush. If you don't know what a double action airbrush is, basically it's down on the trigger for air, and then when you pull back your paint will be released. So that's double action. It's down for air, back for paint. Single action will do the mix and the air together, and it will just be pressed down and your paint will come out with the air. On the backs of these brushes you have got your little dial at the back which goes 1 to 4. This basically sets your trigger movement, so when you dial that right in, your trigger's solid, won't move, and then you can just dial that out slightly and it will give you that little bit of movement in the trigger. This is handy if you're doing detail work and you're set to a certain, say, line thickness, or you want so much paint, you can just dial that in and you will always get that consistency of paint coming through. I always tend to work with these fully open because I've got my trigger response down, so I know exactly how much with my finger movement how much to pull it backwards and forwards, and I find it easier if that's dialed in and you're coming to change your colour and you want to flush your airbrush through. You're only getting a teeny bit of movement in the trigger with that dialed in, so you've got to stop, unwind this before you can clean your brush. So I always have that opened out, pour your cleaning fluid in, you can just blast straight through and you're in again. It's a lot quicker. But that's how I work with my brushes. This is a top cup airbrush. You get your cap on the top with these, so you can put that on so you don't spill any paint if you're working at an angle. To the fronts of these you get a what I want to call is a MAC valve on the front. This is a very small air regulator on the front, so if you've got 25-30 psi coming in up your main part of the brush, you can be working, you can be doing, say, opaques and you're running at 25, you drop down to a transparent which is a lot thinner, and then you can just dial that air pressure in on the front, which is really good. These work really well, guys. I noticed this when I bought the PS270, absolutely love that brush, and that's what made me steer to this one, which is I think their flagship of the Creos range, because it's the 018. This is the closest, if not will match the Micron. I would say this would match the Micron on detail, hands down, and it's a lot cheaper. So that's my thoughts on this. You've got a nice chrome finish to it, nice and solid again, nice and weighty brush in your hand, feels well built, nice soft response on your trigger. You know, if you're going to use this for like 3 to 4 hours, as I have with a portrait, you don't get any cramp in your hand, you don't get a horrible ring on your finger where you're pressing down hard. It's a nice soft trigger movement, and the spring feels really nice as well. You can adjust your tension on the spring, you can pull that right in on that piece there, and you can just get your tension on what you want on the spring. So that's handy to have. So what I do now is, that's the brush, I'll drop some paint in this and we'll just do some little test pieces. I'll do some dots, show you how fine you can get this down on detail with some little lines, dots, and I'll do a little bit of shading and show you how it will shade in and out and give you my thoughts at the end. So I'll see you in the next step, guys. Right, I've got some paint in there. I took the cap off. If we get a bit of tip dry, I can just run that through. I've got 2 toothbrushes with the heads together, bit of tape around it, and then you just run the tip of the airbrush in between the bristles. Job done, no more tip dry. Nice and easy, guys. Good little tip that, if you're getting tip dry a lot, because you always end up pinching and you end up losing the skin on the end of your thumb and your finger. So just get 2 toothbrushes, stick them together, drop a little bit of cleaning fluid on the bristles, and then just rub the head of the airbrush into the bristles. Job done. So we'll get onto this now, guys, and I'll just do some small passes. We'll do some dot work, a few lines. You'll have to bear with me because I've not got my glasses. So I'm going to be over staring at this because it's quite bright. So we'll move on now, and I'll just do some simple bits and show you what this brush can do. So I'll just do some small, if that camera's picking that up. You can see the sort of dots you can get. You can get right down with this, guys. And then we'll do some bigger dots. I'll do full back on the paint. See, that's dropped a bit there. I think that's basically what's been left in it. So it sprays really nice, atomises really nice. And this is just like a micron, guys. You can get, as you can see there, if that camera's picking that up, that is super fine lines, just like the micron, exactly the same. Nice lines, nice atomisation on this, really comfortable trigger. It just seems to atomise the paint really, really well. A nice, comfortable brush to use. And it's nice to have that adjuster on the front. As you can hear that, you can literally turn your air off, and then you can dial that into what you want. So when you're going super fine down like that, getting them really, really super fine lines. As you can see there, they're really fine, tiny like pencil lines on that. It's just nice to be able to dial your air in when you need it there. You can just dial that in when you're working. As I say, I've used this brush now for, it's got to be 3 to 4 months, and it just seems like I'm always picking this brush up. Really comfortable in your hand. After 4 to 5 hours use, you don't feel crampy in your hand or anything like that. With it being a top cup, a lot of people say top cup airbrushes, it gets in the way because you can't look down your brush. And a lot of people opt for the side cups. I've got 3 side cup airbrushes, and to me it doesn't bother me having a top cup because I always tend to slightly, that camera there is picking up, I always tilt the cup slightly, sort of like that, and then I just look down the brush, and then you can just aim where you're going. But I started out with all top cup airbrushes, and it wasn't until I moved on to Iwata and got the micron, which was a side feed, and then I picked a couple more side feeds up, so it doesn't bother me with the cup being on the top or on the side at all. But this is a real good brush, guys. If you are looking for something to do detail with, if you're looking at a micron, which I think they've stopped making them now, this one in particular, which is the CMSB, I think they've stopped making that, so I don't think you'll be able to get hold of these anymore, so they're going to be really rare, but that will match that hands down, and that's a lot dearer. I've done another video on my channel, which is this one against the micron, and it shows you prices, so give that one a look, guys. That's an in-depth on this one and the micron, but But after purchasing this, I think these are about 216, where the Micron's 365. Hands down, I'm on this all the time now. Love it, absolutely love it. It's a great brush, it really is. I'll try a bit of opaque in it and just show you what it goes like with a bit of opaque. Little blast on the toothbrushes, which works wonders. So this is opaque, guys, and not a problem at all. As you can see, super fine lines again with the opaque, atomising it really, really well. That's another reason why I opted for this brush. After using the PS 270 and how well that performed on a 0.2mm, I thought I've got to try this, so instantly brought one, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You'll not look back with the Creos range, you really won't. Once you own one, you won't look back. I mean, I've got a lot of eye waters, and I'll do you some reviews on the eye waters I've got. The next review that's coming up will be the eye water, not got my glasses, the HP BCS, which is a bottom feed. That's the next review, guys. It's another cracking brush, this is. I've had this years and it is an absolute workhorse, but I'll save all that for the review. So that'll be the next review, which will be that, and then I'll work up my eye water range and show you things like that. But this, if you're after a good detailed brush at a good price, you cannot go wrong, guys. You really can't. Outstanding brush. So that's my thoughts on it. I could keep doodling away all day with this. Brilliant brush, really well, reasonable priced. The parts are cheap if you ever get any problems. If you get a dink needle or things like that, there is my other video that shows a head-to-head with this and the Micron, and I do a breakdown of all the figures and costings, and this hands down beats it on pricing. And for me, my opinion, that matches the Micron, and I've owned the Micron years, and this matches it for me. Comfortable wise, I'm always picking this up. So that's my short review on the PS771, guys. Check the Creos range out. You won't look back. I haven't. After owning all the eye waters, and I love eye water, I came onto the Creos range and no, not look back. Brilliant brushes, highly recommend them. So that's it, guys, for today. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and share, and if you're new to my channel, click that subscribe, press that notification, say see more up and coming videos on Dred Custom Paint. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.